Hello and welcome to this online lesson. My name is Mr. Hoven, and today we are going to be taking a brief look at the next online interactive that we will be participating in, and that is the second mission in the Mission US series called Flight to Freedom. It will be set in 1848, and you as the players will be Lucy King, a 14-year-old slave in Kentucky. Will you find a path for freedom, or will you be sent back to the plantation that you were born on? The point of this is just to give you 5 things to know before you play. So that way when you come in next class, we can log on, we can start the prologue and the first part of the mission and just get right to work. So these are 5 things to know before you play. Number 1. From the 1820s, when slavery ended in the northern states, remember, slavery ended in the northern states in the 1820s, until the Civil War broke out in 1861, the United States was divided into free states and slave states. Free states and territories were in the north, and slavery was not permitted there. Slave states and territories were in the south, and slavery was permitted there. If a slave escaped to a free state, he or she was still legally a slave, and could be returned to his or her master in the south. Slaves who ran away, also called fugitives or freedom seekers, tried to find protection among free blacks and abolitionists in the north, or went to Canada, where slavery was prohibited entirely. Number 2. Slaves who lived in border states, slave states next to free states, such as Kentucky, had a better chance of escaping than slaves who lived further south. As a result, slave owners in border states were especially watchful about preventing or capturing runaways. They sent out nightly patrols, imposed curfews, hired slave catchers with dogs, posted runaway advertisements and rewards, and arrested any suspicious slaves. Number 3. The Deep South refers to an area of the United States surrounding the Mississippi River Delta, where cotton was the major crop. Because the harsh working and living conditions on cotton plantations were well known, masters in the border states threatened to sell troublesome slaves or slaves who ran away downriver or down south. Even slaves who worked hard and obeyed their masters were sometimes sold south, since that was where the demand for slave labor was the highest. Number 4. Slavery was a system based on cruelty and violence. Slaves found ways to resist their masters by working slowly, breaking tools, stealing food or clothes, or lying to their masters altogether. All of these forms of resistance carried the risk of punishment, which often include whippings. Slaves who tried to run away or were openly rebellious risked severe whippings, branding, imprisonment, or were forced to wear iron collars around their necks, hands, or feet. Slaves that burned property, stole, or committed murder or other serious crimes were killed. And finally, number 5. Even though masters treated slaves as property, slaves themselves find ways to build families and communities that help them survive their enslavement. Slaves got married, raised children, and relied on networks of relatives and friends. Many slaves practiced Christianity, and they found strength through faith, spiritual expression, and belief in a better life after death. That about wraps things up for today. I will see you in class where we'll be getting Mission US Flight to Freedom. See you next time!